Calm as the water flow. I rock them one. Yeah, has to be. Rocks or something. Cause see, remember say two divergence, you know. So you see out you see nature show you chaos, you know. Cause you see up here so, with a rock here there, up here so, that a split the water. So two different stream of water collide together and create friction. And that friction they create one bigger wave, bigger bubble. You see what I say? Yeah, cause see it there? From right here, so other one rock here. Go all the way downstream. You see it create a whole different current in the water. A middle current.
But is it going in the opposite direction? No, it can't. That's
No, it's
But what makes it like layered? Like what makes a wave?
wave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause differently still it's what underneath.
Yeah, the currency I'll say.
And then
So I
see.
guess the impact of the currency
Mm-hmm.
make it wave. Cause this now, as I said, this gives added friction, so that make it raise probably. Cause that may I try to figure out, like why the water raise.
And then see it look like see a two different level of water. So a two different pressure of water. Cause over there so high and over here so lower. Cause them build a dam.
That makes sense. Okay. Plus, okay. Yeah. There's a whole heap of things that affect it actually still. Because even the narrowness and the rock them over there.
Yeah, force it for get a bottleneck. So it force it for streaming away. You see it like a V.
That's power of interconnectedness,
Yeah.
Oneness.
Yeah. So how to stay still in chaotic times and in chaotic periods. Yeah. Cause a lot of things is always happening. Things never stop move. You know, like life as a cycle. So are these things that are happening right now that seems like it's just for the generation, the first time it's happening, or is this things that are happening from a longer time? You know, because it's cycle repeating every year, every decade, every century, right? So wonder, is it really as intense, more intense now, or more intense in previous generations in terms of chaos? Or is it the same all through the periods? Yeah, yeah, that help. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Ganja.
yeah,
What is
ganja
that?
helps.
YouTube?
Yeah,
Oh, that's crazy.
ganja helps. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, ganja helps because realizing even viewing the word drugs and what they call drugs is anything you can get addicted. So even food, people use food as therapy because food is medicine and should be used as medicine to heal, you know, when things are wrong. So a lot of things we can view as medicine if it's positive, and if you overdo it, it can be drugs.
But just to go back to what you were saying about the cycles and the chaos or the potential for each generation, I would say it doesn't matter what generation. I would say what matters is the age and the stage of development that we're all at consciously as a collective consciousness, and I think that determines how chaotic are the potential of the generation, I would say.
Yeah.
So the different stages of development, like let's just say within the age of AI, the age of technology, a certain form of technology right now, right? So the potential is going to be driven by the potential is going to be driven by that. Society is going to be driven by that agenda. You see what I say? So would I say the chaos itself would have be subjective to the stage of development with it as a collective in terms of consciousness.
Repeat that, my friend.
So
Last part.
So the stage, the chaos or the potential for each generation is determined by whatever demand is necessary for our stage of development at that particular time or age.
So is it that it's not more chaotic, but the demand is just different? As the demands in the past of different ages and different times, such copper age, iron age, up to now we're in the technology age. So what is the demand of us, as a people, to advance to the next stage? And I think if we go into technology, we're realizing, or I hope everyone realizes during this period, it's technology, the physical format, and then the things that you can see, like the electricity, that technology, social engineering, energy, manipulating and harvesting energy is where we're at right now, going into the next cycle, different ages. Because the more the technology has increased, is the more the social engineering has increased. The more the manipulation of energy has increased, because now everything is in sync, like in real time. So it's like as I'm speaking to you right now, everything's being recorded and being directed to go where it needs to go and come back.
No, I definitely agree with that. And we also have a big say in terms of the direction individually and collectively. You see what I say? So I think that is the most important thing as well. Once you're aware of the age or the demand of the age, then now it's like centering yourself. You see what I say? Because you said the question was how do we stay balanced in chaotic times, right?
Yeah.
Some would have said centering yourself with an objective that can flow with the motion or the demand of where we're headed. You see what I say? Because them would have caught, some people would have called it like the path of least resistance. You see what I say? But it's not necessarily the path of least resistance, like you just go with the flow necessarily. But you find a way to put your intention into the currency or the flow where everybody already are going.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and that's something that I really appreciate. Even some advantages and disadvantages of everything in every age. As right now we have high technology, so we rely on a lot of different things less. So it's like you putting your intention into everything that is going forward is you helping to create the world that you want to see. Because right now we already know that since the technology is high, you don't need to wait on anybody to create certain things for you, because we're in a different age. It's not like we don't have freaking what you would say, like a sewing machine. The sewing machines back then big, like take up a whole room. You can put 5, 10 sewing machines in your freaking apartment. You can start your own grow your own food in your own apartment, which you probably couldn't do 50 years ago or 20 years ago. So we're at an age where there's not really much excuses more than to understand what's going on really and truly. Because staying out of the loop is good sometimes, but there's disadvantages as well as. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Technology. Yeah, Subaru dead, Bima still alive. Technology, Bima Falakia. Because right now in 2025, it only matters who has the most advanced science, who have the design, who is trying to push the thing forward. BMW, Audi, Mercedes, all of these people, everybody is like crying right now. Even people that we would say, all right, these are billionaires. Because they're pushing the regular people in a deficit, it is reflecting on them in the natural cycle that no one's spending on anything. So everything's going out.
Ushering in a new age.
Yeah. Yeah, new age. Yeah.
The old systems, all of them things they have to fall in order for new structures to come up, and then we have to essentially, like, it's always been about meeting the demand of the age. You see what I say? So once we can do that, not only meet the demand of the age, but innovate on top of it. You see what I say? Innovation put you ahead of the lucky and the hard working. You see what I say? So that is a thing where innovation always are going to propel things forward. So if we can meet the demands that are known, you see what I say, or that are common, but also if we can go beyond the common demands, you see what I say, and find things that are like that people didn't necessarily know that this thing would probably make their life easier, make it easier to accomplish a particular goal. You see what I say? Them things there are gonna put you way ahead of the age.
Yeah, yeah, and that is why it's so easy when I look at it. Not to say it easy, but it's not really hard to create streams when you look at. If you even look at the reality of yourself and say where I am at right now, what could help me right now to become more advanced and take what I'm doing to the next level, and you start working on that. That alone, if you find something that could help you, that can translate to others as well, because you're not the only one facing any problems. And with every invention, there wasn't only one idea that made that invention. It was 100 or thousands or hundreds of thousands of ideas put together for every invention and every innovation. That is where the Ubuntu comes into spear, where everybody adds a piece of what they know and their experience to the whole. Hence why we have technology and everything that we see in front of us today. Because really and truly, even this universe that we see, sometimes they want us to conceptualize of oneness in the terms of everything coming from one. Because everything is in one. But that one has a lot of different ones. Because all of these atoms, particles, and everything, they are also one. Every individual is an atom, is a one, is a nucleus, is a one. Collectively, one nation, one people, one world, one universe.
Because we're a functioning body. You know what I'm saying? Just like you say, every atom, every cell make up what we're calling the human or the animal. You see what I say? So yeah, you find say all of them things there, all of these forces that are underlying within nature and within reality, they come together to, you know what I'm saying, for particular objectives. So this is why we have a common nature as humans, and then cats and dogs have their own common nature, like what bro just said. So yeah, understanding that as well puts you ahead in a this age. I think if you don't understand that, you don't have any means of innovating, because in the Medunete by Rao Nefra, we read and it said, not knowing cosmology or not knowing the order of reality is like building a house with a fork and a spoon. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely do believe that if you don't understand how things work as a body, as a collective, then you will always work harder than necessary, because you're missing the core fundamental principles that make this thing work.
Yeah, all right. So, yeah, next question was, since, when you balance yourself through chaotic times, because that is the only thing you can do at all times, because the world will never be just peaceful, because things and challenges is the experience of the universe we live in. So, knowing that currents will always flow, waves will be always being current and activating, ripple effects. After that, how do you interpret nature, as in to guide yourself with your intuition towards your objective or where you're trying to go?
That's a good question. I would say being one with nature, and when I say being one with nature, meaning separating yourself from other people's concept or ideas or what was imposed on you about nature, and experience it directly for yourself and develop your own relationship and perspective with nature. You see what I say? From within and through experience. That I would say is the only way. You see what I say? Because nature is so multidimensional and mystical it's like there's no way for like objectively say, all right, this is a way that you have to do it. That's what I say. But we can look on it from a more abstract perspective and know, say, all right, everything is about consciousness and matter. You see what I say? Just I forgot the exact scientific theory, but it's like I think it has to do with the observer principle. So once certain aspects of certain building blocks of the universe are observed, then they behave a certain way. So it's the same thing with nature. So this is why it's so subjective. While me, I can do something, right, and I get a particular result, but you do the same thing, but you don't get the same result as me. That is only because you have your own way of interacting with nature itself. You see me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to learn that, you know what I say, for yourself.
Yeah. So you have to listen to nature. You have to build an interaction with nature at all times. We know how it relates to you, yes. Because realizing everywhere you go, even the slightest change in the environment affects you. And you affect it as well because it's the ecosystem. So regardless of how sometimes you want to think of ourselves as individuals, we know that we are part of everything that is going on, whether we decide to do or not to do. Just as these stones somebody decide to put them there. And then that ripple effect just to cross this road. So we know everything we do. Yeah, natural.